You are enjoying the contrast of your time and place? That is the most important question that we ever ask. And while we appreciate your attempt at truthfulness, most of you are not appreciating the contrast of your time and place all that much. And perhaps it is because you are forgetting that out of the variety that you are living is born the clarity of your personal preference. Sometimes, as we are visiting with our physical friends, we realize that you are not really appreciating the value of your personal preference. It's as if you have forgotten that you are source energy who has come forth as source energy into these physical bodies. And as you came into this time-space reality, you knew that the variety that surrounds you would inspire from within you your personal preferences, your desires, your ideas of what you prefer. You were so sure as you made the decision to come forth into these bodies that the environment would serve you. And you were so remembering that once the environment inspired from you your personal idea of what you wanted, you knew that a rocket of desire would emanate from you, sometimes big rockets, sometimes small ones, sometimes life-changing desires, sometimes merely preferences. You knew that when those preferences, desires, intentions would shoot from you in this rocket of desire, you knew that the source energy would, in a sense, ride that rocket and become the vibrational equivalent of that. Now, before that can make sense to you, you have to remember that you are source energy always. You were source energy before you came forth into these physical bodies, and a part of that source energy perspective is what was born into that which is you. But all that you are as source energy did not come forth into the personality that you know as you. The larger part of you remains non-physically focused, while only a part of you is here in this physical body. And that larger part of you remains non-physically focused, and whenever you, here in your physical body, you weigh the pros and the cons, the pluses and the minuses, you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. Whenever you identify what you do want as a sort of synthesis of life that you are living, the source energy part of you turns undivided attention to that newly found, newly amended preference. We like to say, in fact, it is not just a desire that emanates from you, it is the newly expanded version of you. Do you know that you cannot have an experience of any kind without that experience causing you to become more than you were before? Do you know that if in your physical body you are experiencing what you call sickness, that when you are sick, at every level of your being, even a cellular level, you ask for wellness. And when that asking occurs, that the source energy part of you, the larger part of you, becomes more well than you were before you got sick, because the sickness has been a clarifying experience that has caused that expansion. When you don't have enough money and you ask for more, the larger part of you becomes it vibrationally. And sometimes we don't think that you understand the importance of that statement, because you are here in your physical flesh, blood, and bone bodies. You don't, for the most part, remember that you are vibrational beings first and foremost. And so when someone like us, who is speaking to you from the non-physical dimension, when we come from our vibrational place and we speak to you about vibration, it leaves some of you feeling a little uncomfortable, because you are so good at translating vibration that you forget that you are vibration. What you see with your eyes is a vibrational interpretation. What you hear with your ears is a vibrational interpretation. Everything that you are smelling and tasting and touching, you are interpreting vibration, and you are doing it so well that you call it reality. But in your fixation on the interpretation that you call reality, sometimes you separate yourself, too strong of word, but you get the point, from the greater vibrational basis that is you. It is our desire to help you to remember that you are source energy, that you are vibration. We want to remind you of the emotional guidance that comes forth from within you. And most of all, we want to help you to consciously and deliberately return to the source energy perspective that you were born with, to the source energy perspective that you held before you were born. But, hear this. This is the most important part. You did not come forth into these physical bodies just to mimic the perspective that you held as source before you got here. You came forth to bring that source energy perspective into this newly defined, newly clarifying experience. You came forth as creators in this leading edge environment. So often, our physical friends think that that which is non-physical, that which is source, that which they often call God, is all perfect, all figured out, and complete. And that somehow you've been sent here to be tested to see if you can measure up to some of that perfection that you perceive that is God. And we want you to understand that it is very different from that. You are that source energy extended into this time-space reality for the purpose of exposure to experience, for the purpose of expansion, for the purpose of going beyond that which it has been before. And so when life causes you to ask for something, step one has taken place. In other words, when you ask, whether you use words or not, it is not only given every single time, but something even more extraordinary happens. When life causes you to ask, the larger part of you literally becomes what you are asking for. But you know what happens with so many of you? While the larger part of you has become what you are asking for, often you do not go there. You do not become what you've been asking for. Instead, you continue so often in a sort of attitude of justification or rationalization. You continue to beat the drum of why you want what you want. I want to be well because I'm so sick. I need more money, 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 I need more money. Don't have enough, don't have enough, don't have enough, don't have enough, don't have enough. That rich bugger over there's got plenty. Probably deals drugs. And when you beat the drum of where you are, you don't allow yourself to become the vibrational match to the newly discovered, to the newly improved, to the newly expanded version of you. So when we say to you that the creative process is really 3 steps, the first step you don't have to worry about because life will evoke it from you. The first step is ask. And you just cannot be focused here in this environment without this environment causing you to ask. Because when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want, without exception. And so you're asking all day, every day. Step 2 is not your work to understand or to provide. Step 2 is source answering what you are asking for. And we want you to understand that not only does source answer, source becomes the vibrational equivalent of what you are asking for. When you ask for more abundance, source becomes it. Step 3 is really what this gathering is all about. Step 3 is where you must find a way somehow to become a vibrational match of what you are asking for. If you are sick and you want to be well, you cannot continue to note the details of your sickness and be a vibrational match to the wellness that you seek. You have to find a way to find the feeling of the wellness. If you don't have enough money or enough love from someone or enough of something, you must find a way to find the feeling place of it. And the way we like to describe this to you is that with each of these rockets of desires, you are, without knowing it, most of you, you are creating this vibrational vortex. It is a holding place where the things that you have been asking for are vibrationally being tended to, waiting for you to do the thing that you must do in order to receive the materialization of them, or the actualization of them, or the realization of them. In simple words, you cannot continue to beat the drum of not enough of something and ever receive it. You have to find a way to find vibrational alignment with what you are seeking. And for the most part, the thing that keeps you from doing that is you are so good at deciphering your now reality. You are so good at noting what is. You have a sort of what is-itis. You're so aware of what is. You've been trained to be aware. You've been trained to weigh the pros and the cons and the pluses and the minuses. You've been trained to tell it like it is, to face up to what the facts are. And we are wanting to say to you that with every thought that you think, anything that you give your attention to, you are vibrationally active. In other words, anything that holds your attention for as little as 17 seconds begins to produce a vibrational state of being that then law of attraction begins to respond to. So if you are unhappy with what is, or even just aware of what is, you cannot move toward what you are wanting. Do you know that everything that you see in this realized world of all of this knock-on-wood stuff that you are aware of, do you know that all of it was thought before it was any of this stuff that you see as reality? It was thought, it was vibration, it is energy. And the more it was focused upon by Source and by those like you who are here participating among it, the more it is focused upon, the more it becomes the reality that you know as what you call real life. You are creators of reality. You are not regurgitators of reality. You did not say, I will go forth into this time-space reality and I will take all of the ideas that exist and we will whittle them down to a few good ideas that we will all agree upon and we will live happily ever after. It is exactly the opposite of that you knew to be the experience of planet Earth. You said, from your Source perspective, I will go forth and I will explore that which is around me, and from it will be born my clear, and we say to you, poignant and perfect and important point of view. I will have my vantage point, and from my vantage point I will emanate a vibration, and all that is will actualize around that vantage point. Some of you have been hearing about law of attraction, yes? Law of attraction is the most powerful law in the universe, and law of attraction says that which is likened to itself is drawn. But something that most of you are not really remembering is that law of attraction is responding to all vibrations. And when you set your radio dial on 6:30 a.m., you cannot hear what's being broadcast on 98.7 FM. Law of attraction does not allow that. You must set your radio dial, your tuner, to the frequency that you want to hear. You must set your tuner to the frequency of abundance if you seek abundance. You cannot continue to focus and therefore set your tuner to things unwanted and receive what it is you are wanting. So, do you get this picture of who you are? Do you understand that you were source energy before you came forth into this physical body? And that as you made the decision to come into this body, that a part of this vibrational energy that is really who you are, focused here into this body, and now here you are, and you're exploring the contrast. You know what you don't want, you know what you do want, and out of it you are giving birth to all kinds of preferences. And as those preferences are emanating from you, the source energy part of you is gathering them in what we are lovingly and accurately referring to as your vibrational escrow. In other words, it's the expanded version of you being held in vibrational form, just like the planet itself that you now live upon was at one time a thought swirling in vibrational form. And now it is your work to move into this vibrational escrow. You must find a way to find the feeling place of what you have been becoming. The easiest way for you to hear this, the way that we want you to hear it, is, are you keeping up with you? Are you letting yourself be that which life has caused you to become? And the answer to that question is so much easier for you to answer than you know. If you are feeling joy, the answer is yes, you're up to speed with who you have become. And if you can maintain that joy, if you can maintain that appreciation, that feeling of love, if you have that attitude of eagerness, that feeling of appreciation and passion, if you feel predominantly, chronically, those kinds of emotions, then that means you are so close to the vibrational frequency that is swirling here in the expanded, evolved, amended version of you that before you know it, law of attraction which has been sweeping into this vortex all things that are related to that which you said you wanted, not necessarily said you wanted, but that which you lived and vibed and concluded that you wanted through the synthesizing of life. That vortex now is containing and drawing unto it by the powerful law of attraction all of those components that are necessary for the fulfillment of this desire, no matter what it is. If this time-space reality has had the wherewithal to inspire within you a new idea of something, no matter what it is, this time-space reality has the wherewithal to provide it for you fully.